CEO Ron from Creating the Difference. I want to talk to you a little bit about layouts and bowling balls. This is a topic that kind of gets talked about a lot. There's some confusion about that topic, and hopefully we can get you to have a better understanding of more about layouts as it pertains to symmetrical balls and asymmetrical balls. We'll start with the symmetrical balls. These happen to be five actually, symmetrical bowling balls we've got here, and they're all laid out differently. This first ball here is laid out 45 by 5 by 30, and we put an A over top of it for an angular type motion. The next ball is 45 by 4 by 30, and we put a C over top of that for continuous motion. The third ball is 45 by 3 3/8 by 30. We put a T over that for a traction ball motion. And the fourth bowling ball we've got here is 90 by 1/2 by 60, and we call this the straight ball motion. Now, we've also got one other ball over here, which is kind of interesting because sometimes people like to compare pin-up balls versus pin-down balls. Well, this pin-down ball is going to be 45 by 5 by 75. But what makes it interesting is if we go back to the other bowling ball is 45 by 5 by 30. So the only thing that's changed is that second angle. So the bowling balls, the pin to PAP distance is the exact same, just that second angle is different. Now you may go, okay, so what are you going to do with these balls? We're going to drill these bowling balls up. We're going to throw them down the lane. We're going to get some spectro data to give you some performance on what the differences are with these bowling balls. But we're going to do one other cool thing that you may find interesting at the end of the video. You'll want to stick around and watch that because that'll kind of help answer a couple other questions that you may have. Stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about layouts. It's a hot topic people always want to discuss and always want to learn more about. So we decided we would shoot a video on it. So we're going to start off by talking about 5 different bowling balls, but we're going to focus on 4. The first ball is this one right here. We've actually marked the positive axis point with the white piece of tape on each of these balls. This ball happens to be laid out 45 by 5 by 30 degrees. This bowling ball right here happens to be laid out 45 by 4 by 30 degrees. This bowling ball right here happens to be laid out 45 by 3 3/8 by 30 degrees. And this bowling ball looks kind of funny, right? Look at this. Way over here. This ball happens to be laid out 90 by 1/2 inch by 60 degrees. And then last but not least, we've got one ball that's laid out 45 by 5 by 75, which happens to be the pin down version of this ball, which was 45 by 5 by 30. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Dustin throw some shots. So we're going to collect some data, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we're seeing. We're going to start by throwing that 45 by 5 by 30 bowling ball. All right, so that gives us our that gives us our spectral data to peek at. So we'll take a peek at the spectral data real quick. The spectral data just lets us kind of see a little bit about what's going on. It doesn't really mean a whole lot at this point until we start to do some comparative testing. So we're going to put this ball up here, take a peek at the flare pattern of that particular ball. You just kind of see how the ball flares as it goes down the lane. Back here is some of the dry flare. You can kind of see up here, this is what's called the bow tie point. So the flare is going this way on this part, but on this bow tie, it's actually going this way. So it's 2 different directions worth of flare, and that's just kind of how the ball rolls. So now we're going to grab this ball, which happens to be 45 by 4 by 30, and we're going to show you how that ball looks as it goes down the lane. All right. We're going to throw that shot one more time. .45 by 4 by 30. We'll delete that shot. All right, looking at some of the data, launch angle is a little bit different there. You can kind of see that. So the launch angle is a little bit different. Probably have to redo that one more time for me. These are they're going to be very close. Like when we get the captured shot, we're going to want to make sure they're really close. So 45 by 4 by 30. Woo! My man's throwing wood over there. All right, so that's good. So that gives us that ball. So now we will move to the 45 by 3 3/8 by 30 degrees. You get yourself a full rack there. And the spectro data is actually showing us just kind of how different the balls are. So you're able to see it yourself. And we're just gonna keep throwing these balls. So now we're gonna throw that 45 by 3 3/8 by 30. All right. So we'll take a peek at that spectro data there. Gives you kind of a rough idea of what's going on. And this is, this is live. This is all real time. I want to show you the flare too. So I want to show you the flare of that 45 by 4 by 30 ball first. Actually, this is the 45 by 3 3/8 by 30. But I want to show you the 45 by 4 by 30 ball. So we'll put it up there too. Just to kind of show some of the differences. Okay, so we're going to keep that shot. We're going to go to the next ball, right? So now you've kind of seen 3 different balls, 3 different shots. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a peek at this one. This was a little bit different, right? This is 90 by 1/2 inch by 60. All right, so now that one looks like it was in. So we're probably going to take a look at the spectro data there. Yeah, it's in a little bit. Well, but it's close though. Definitely close. Let's see what the spectro's got to say. Let's take a real good look at that spectro data. Actually, that one's not so bad. Oh. Well, that's cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep all 4 of those shots. Put that ball up here. Let's take a peek at it too. Let's look at the flare. This is a 1/2 inch. Oh, look at this. See that right there? Ooh, we just barely clipped that finger. That's one of the dangers of when you drill bowling balls so close to the axis point. And more importantly, as you begin to bring this pin closer to the center of the grip, that bow tie point begins to move down, and that's what's causing that to actually clip. So now we're aware of that as well. No big deal. We're going to throw this ball here, which happens to be 45 by 5 by 75. We're going to throw it next. And what's interesting is you're seeing how different these balls are, or how close they are. All right, so that one we will delete. We'll probably go ahead and delete that shot. Launch angle was quite a bit different there, so we'll get rid of that. We'll throw it again. He'll wipe it off with that CTD BFP. Keeps the bowling ball clean, gets the oil off the bowling ball, which is important, especially when you're trying to do some testing. It's important to keep that bowling ball as clean as possible. So we're back on it again, 45 by 5 by 75. Woo, 10 back. The question was, did he throw it good? The survey looks like he did. Looks like he did. The spectro data. I mean, look at the data. Look at the data. I mean, when you're looking at this data here, you're seeing these shots are really, really close. And there's a little bit of difference, right? Look at the total hook. Starting from the bottom to the top. 15.6, 17.7, 20.1, 18 even, 16.6. So there's a little bit of difference there, right? And you're seeing in the data itself that you're seeing most of the change happen in the mid lane, right? Around 40 feet. So look at that 40-foot mark, and you're going to be able to see right around there is where there's some separation in the balls. In the back end of the lane, it's kind of close, and the front part of the lane is pretty close as well. So ultimately what's happening is the data is telling you that there are some shape differences between these bowling balls. Kind of happens in the middle of the lane. And honestly, let's take a peek at the flare pattern of that ball real quick. So we're gonna look at the flare pattern of that ball too here. And you can see, I mean, the flare is wide, the bow tie point is actually lower because it's pinned down, whereas on this ball it would actually be back here. We'll throw the pin up ball again, please. So this is a really good comparison. Hold on one second, I'm sorry, Dustin. This is a really good comparison for you guys at home to have a better understanding of pin placement, because look, I've just shown you 5 different bowling balls. 5 completely different layouts. I mean, when you look at this bowling ball, it looks a lot different. Not as too different, but a lot different than this ball, right? Definitely different than this one. Considerably different than that one, and different from that one. So they're all different looking layouts. And we're showing you the performance difference, because at the end of the day, it's the performance that matters. Everybody focuses on how the pin placement looks, but really we should be focusing on how that bowling ball performs. And we're seeing the most change in that mid portion of the lane. All right, fair enough, Dustin. So that was the A ball, the 45 by 5 by 30. So I want you to grab the C ball. And I want you just to repeat the shot as best you can. Doesn't have to be ace. We just want it to be as close as possible. Why? Because this is what the average consumer would have to deal with. And I want you guys at home to see if you can tell a big difference in this ball reaction. That one was in. Okay, ring 10, no big deal. Let's grab the next one. Let's grab the next ball. Next ball is going to be 45 by 3 3/8 by 30. We're going to see how it rolls down the lane. So think about this. Think about what we're showing you here and the importance of this for your game. Are we seeing some differences in the balls? Yes. Is the difference massive? Not really. All right, 2-pin. 2-pin. We call that the traction layout. That's the one that's supposed to kind of be a little bit rollier, a little bit earlier, and you can kind of see that obviously because of that it didn't get back. So now we're going to grab that 1/2-inch pin layout, right? This is the one that we call the straight layout, so to speak, because the pin is a 1/2 inch away from the positive axis point, which is going to really minimize that flare potential. And you can kind of see the flare patterns on these bowling balls too. You can kind of see that on the bowling balls. Some differences there too. So 90 by 60 by 90 by 1/2 by 60. And he's gonna get it. Of course, of course, of course. There we go. Attaboy. So, I mean, you're seeing he's able to strike with all the balls. He's not moving. He's trying to repeat the exact same shot, stay in the same part of the lane. He's gonna throw the pin down ball, which was 45 by 5 by 75 next. And I just want you to watch, because that's really the key here, right? It's just a good understanding of what's actually happening from a ball motion standpoint and how much difference there really is with the pins. And another strike. So Dustin's thrown all those bowling balls. The data is super, super tight. We're gonna take a peek at the Spectral data right now. You can see that the data shows that we're pretty close all the way around with those bowling balls. And especially, you know, when you really look at the data, we start to take a deep dive into it. It kind of gives you some information there. We got one shot that looks kind of funny right there, that number 10. That number 10 shot definitely looks a little bit funky. Maybe we had a little hiccup there with the data. No worries, no worries. At the end of the day, the point we're trying to make here is you're being able to watch the ball go down the lane. You're being able to see it yourself. And as a result of that, you're seeing just really how much difference there is or isn't when it comes to bowling ball layouts. And depending on your skill level, depending on your average level, this is going to be probably not a whole lot more different, right? But it definitely could be a whole lot less different. Dustin's a high caliber, 230 plus average, former junior Team USA player who repeats shots. Imagine what happens if you are a 180 average bowler or a 200 average bowler who doesn't repeat shots, and you've got all these different layouts. What's going to end up happening is you're going to end up seeing a lot of your bowling balls do the exact same thing, because quite honestly, we're showing you what the difference is when you do repeat the shots. So now you got a little bit more information. You've got some more insight onto the power of layouts. And maybe there's a layout that you like that's better for your game. You also learn a little fact too about putting the ball pin under, right? Pin under balls have more of a propensity as you bring that bow tie point down to clip holes. And this ball particularly, we actually did clip the hole a little bit. That happens to be that 1/2 inch layout that we did. We do tend to call these by kind of names, right? This layout here, which is the 45 by 5 by 30, is our angular layout. This layout right here is our continuous layout at 45 by 4 by 30. The traction layout is 45 by 3 3/8 by 30. The straight layout, as we called it, was 90 by 1/2 by 60, and the pin under ball was 45 by 5 by 75. So now you got more information about layouts. Please feel free to share this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Man, we sure would appreciate it. By all means, drop us some comments, man. We like comments, we like reading the comments, and love to respond to comments too. This is just one test that we've done. One, to give you guys some base information, get you on the same page about layouts so you can know what to add or maybe subtract to your game and your arsenal. So with that being said, I'm out of here. CEO Ron from Create the Difference. Talk to you soon.